Live. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Blake Ruffino. This is Are You Serious Sports? We hope that you're making it a good one. We know that we are as well. We have a big show in store for you tonight. Mama is home. Mama's home. No, not Megan T. Ruffino. No, not your mama. No, not your kid's mama. The real Queen Bee, Mama Kim Mulkey, is home. Let's go with it, bro. Let's freaking go. I don't think that I've been more fired up in reference to a woman's, and I'm just being blunt honest, a woman's coaching hire ever. Absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing that LSU was able to pull it off. I know that we talked about that Saturday, that I was 99.5% sure that it was happening, but LSU pulled it off. Scott Woodward pulled it off. We'll get into all that. As I'm really fired up. I do got to let you guys hear this from Kim Mulkey herself. This solidified Kim Mulkey. Before we get started, you guys got to listen to this.
You get a coach to leave an institution that has had so much success. I think that's what everybody's wondering. And the first thing you're going to wonder is, God, she got a boatload of money.
You're getting a firecracker of a head coach. A firecracker of a head coach. We're going to talk a lot of Kim Mulkey. We're going to get to all your comments, as we do always on Are You Serious Sports. Before we get started and all of that, though, guys, you know what time it is. We got to pay some bills around this thing. We want to thank our good partners over at Believe Podcast. We got look, I mean, they're going to be through because we got a lot to talk about. And we got to talk about our good partners over at GM Varno & Sons and Monster Bass. And I got to tell you guys, GM Varno & Sons is absolutely killing it. A lot of people have been messaging me saying how first class their service is, and I just always thank them for their great service. But no better for AYS than our good friends over at GM. GM Varno & Sons has faithfully been serving your Denham Springs and Baton Rouge area for over 62 years. With their highly trained technicians, there's absolutely nothing that they can't do. RV repair, big rig overhauls, motorhome chassis, routine maintenance, tire rotations, tire sales. No job is too big or too small over at GM. Give them a call today at 225-664-9992. That's 225-664-9992. And tell them Blake Ruffino at AYS sent you on by. Our good friend, Mr. Richie Roche over at Roche's Lawn and Landscape, 225-937-7220. That's 225-937-7220. If you're in the greater Baton Rouge area and you want your lawn done, not just done right, but professionally done right and landscape, give Richie Roche a call today at 225-937-7220 and tell him Blake Ruffino at AYS sent you on by. Okay. I see the comments are just pouring in. Let's go, says Dylan Landry. We are live, says Craig Schilling. Colin Thibodeau says, hit that like and share, peeps. And yes, as always, I do appreciate everybody that does hit the like and share it to some groups. I always appreciate all of you that send us stars via Facebook. Blake Doucette says, hashtag Ask Blake. You have to do it in the Rock's voice. Finally, the Mulk has come back home. You know what, Blake? I didn't think about that. Finally, Kim Mulkey has come back to Louisiana State University. Look, let's start off here. Let's see. Ryan says, let's go. What's up, Blake? Favorite part of the day is when you seen Scott Woodward dancing up and down in the supermarket aisles. Let's start there and talking about Scott Woodward. I want to make this very clear because people are going to overreact and underreact to maybe not overreact, but maybe somewhat underreact to Kim Mulkey being hired. I want every LSU fan that's listening right now. Let me make sure I write this time down. So 7 minutes into the show, I want to make this very well known that LSU showed in the hiring of Kim Mulkey that they are ready to go spend the money. Everybody for a week said LSU can't spend that kind of money, Blake. They can't spend that kind of money on Kim Mulkey. Well, Scott Woodward, that like he's done with Jimbo Fisher, like he's done with Chris Peterson at Washington, like he's done multiple places, like he was when he was on the staff at LSU when they brought over a guy. Remember, what was his name? Oh, Nick Saban. Guys, this is what LSU was always intended to be. We are blank check university. Hey, you know what's bigger than anything around here? Winning championships. Oh, you know what? LSU's going through a PR nightmare because of some Rudy Poo individuals that did some Rudy Poo stuff. Let's go hire Kim Mulkey because she ain't going to put up with that shit. I'm going to tell you that right now. She ain't going to put up with it. And she's going to come here and win. Now, I get she said that give us time. She's just biding her time to say that. She don't mean that. She does not mean that in the slightest. Yeah, they might struggle year 1, year 2, year 3. They're going to lay it to smack it down on that candy ass. That is Kim Mulkey. You got the firecrackers of all firecrackers. That's number one. So Scott Woodward, in and of itself, and a woman's coach, in a woman's coaching hire, legitimately made the biggest hire that Joe Alleva ever did. You can make the argument of Ed Orgeron, and I understand that. You know what? I understand that. But from the preface of all of this, Ed Orgeron wasn't a national championship head-winning coach. He just wasn't. 2019 validated that. We'll get to that part in just a second. I know a lot of people are talking about she's the greatest hire of all time. I want to make a little bit of emphasis on that. I don't agree that she's the greatest LSU hire of all time. I will tell you why. She's never even coached a game at LSU yet. Let's kind of pump the brakes. Do I think that she's going to be fantastic? Absolutely. Do I think that she's going to get LSU back to a Final Four? Absolutely. But let's pump the brakes on that a little bit, right? Like, let's pump the brakes just a bit. You have a guy who in 2019 won a national title. Paul Maneri's pretty good. Oh, and then there was this guy by the name of Skip Berkman that won 5 in a decade. So let's pump the brakes. However, on the preface of all of this, this is one of the best hires that LSU has ever done. Todd says, never seen this much excitement for LSU women's basketball. No, and look, they already got 600 pairs of women's season tickets sold. Pairs, not just individuals. Pairs of, I feel like when I say pairs, I'm talking about a pear I eat with like fruit. But literally around 1,200. Guys, and she's going to come in here and fundraise. It's just who she is. You think that she's not going to raise her salary by the end of, let's just say, what's today? April 26th. Let's say by the June 1st. You think she's not going to raise her salary by June 1st? I'm going to tell you something. You're a little crazy. She kind of actually already has. Wink. Dude, there was a lot of big money flying in for Kim Mulkey. Now that we can talk about it, a lot of big time money booster-wise flying in for Kim Mulkey. One of them 7'2", and his daughter's on the team. A lot of money. Craig Schilling says, Coach Mulkey roasting Coach Paul Maneri, and I'm going to yell at Paul asking why he took that picture out. Yeah, look, she picked him up at the press conference, but look, she made it well be known about how much she loves Paul Maneri and what he did for her son, Kramer Robinson. By the way, the Kramer Robinson mom joke is so overplayed. Stop with it. Stop it. We get it. Stop saying it. Tasha Thibodeau of the Real LSU Nation says, go Tigers. What's going on, Tasha? But that Kramer Robinson stuff's well overplayed. Chris Barnhill says, pack the PMAC for women's basketball. Isn't that crazy, y'all? Isn't that crazy that you can make one hire? And look, I've seen people and I've had people messaging me on AYS all day long. Blake, I can't believe we spent the money on Kim Mulkey. I just can't believe it. And to you, and I've told you in the chats, I've told you in private messages, I don't give a Rudy Poo what you think about that. Guys, and I want to let me make this one another one. We're 12 minutes into the show. I want to make this and I've been kind of careful when I've said this. So I want to say this now. LSU is not in the business of making money. Oh, wait, what? LSU athletics is not in the business of making money. It is in the business of two major things. Number one, student athletes getting an education. Few and far between. Those students get an education. Number two, it's about winning championships. Period, point blank. So this whole thing where we can't spend money, we don't have the money, this, that, and the third, yada, 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 yada. No, you got to spend money to win championships. You don't hear Alabama boo-hooing about it. You don't hear Ohio State boo-hooing about it. Quite honestly, you're not really right now hearing USC boo-hooing about it. They had a $600 million lawsuit. Their booster said, $600 million? We can raise that in a quick instance. They literally said that. So it's LSU athletics has never been in the business of raising money. Now, does it take money to run shit? Absolutely. Absolutely, it takes money to run stuff. I'm not saying that. But we are not, or should LSU ever be, in the business of making money for any Rudy Poo person. Period. We have to stop saying that LSU is about making money athletically. Hey, look, I'll be honest, they charge me money every month. TAF, what happening with it though? I'm going to spend my money because it does stuff like this. When I spend my money, when AYS spends their money, let me tell you what AYS does when we spend our money. You better go out and get the best to win. Period. There is no discussion about that. So all you people who said don't pay Kim Mulkey, you're wrong. You're dead wrong. All right, let's get a couple more of these comments. Let's see. Let's start here. Lamar Williams says she's a rock star. I agree with that. Stephen Frey says hashtag mama. I like it. Queen Bee is home, y'all. I mean, she was up there at the podium roasting individuals and then giving them praise where it was due. She was up there making funnies. Hey, wait, I forgot about my son. You know that little curly hair looking dude? What do you got, a perm, she said? I mean, she roasted her son on the open mic. Adam says the mask throwing was amazing. Yeah. Billy says LSU girls basketball is about to start kicking ass and taking names. Go Tigers. I agree with that. Kenny says, can you smell what Kim is cooking? If you smell what Kim Mulkey's cooking. Guys, and she told Ryan Thibodeau says I'm in Rudy Poo jail, Facebook jail. That's funny. Maybe it's not that funny, but it's funny that you said that. I mean, look, she's going to tell you what she thinks. And the biggest part to me that what she said and everything, yeah, it was I wanted to come home. No other institution could have brought me here. Yeah, it was the funny thing that she said, she made a buttload of money. See, and that's the funny thing that you guys don't notice. I played that in the very beginning. To tell every LSU fan that's going to watch this show tonight, which there's 191 of you in here actively, and to everybody that's listening to the audio podcast tomorrow morning. Guys, if you think head coaches don't watch social media, maybe not Ed Orgeron, but majority of them, you're crazy. She knew that fans were bitching and moaning and complaining about paying her salary. She said, and I'm quoting her, that it took Scott Woodward's front office to calm her down from the emotions of not leaving Baylor. I'm going to leave that one at B. You guys remember the post that we had a couple of days ago about she's on edge emotionally. Kim Mulkey ran out there and said that if it was not for Scott Woodward's administration calming her down emotionally, and she throws her hands up, I don't know what I would have done. Praise be to, I only say praise be to God, but all praise to Scott Woodward's staff. So you remember the post, and Kim Mulkey validated our comment there. Just throwing that out there. Let's see. Adam says, has he done it for a non-big money maker? Are you talking about Scott Woodward paying? I mean, Adam, you're falling in, and quite honestly, you're falling in that boat of, I think, I don't want to put words in your mouth, so comment back and we'll get to it. But I don't want to put words in your mouth. But at the end of the day, it's not for LSU to make. LSU's job is to not make money. It's their job to win championships in track, in golf, in softball, in women's tennis. They don't have men's tennis anymore, I don't believe. Yeah, they do. Whatever sport, football, baseball, basketball, women's basketball. By the way, that's how it runs now, if you're wondering. From an LSU fan's perspective, football, baseball, basketball, women's basketball. That's the order now. Now, the question's going to be if Kim Mulkey starts winning championships now, hey, is she going to get in front of Will Wade? But getting back to that, the biggest thing for me that she said is when she walked up to Will and said, "You ready to win?" And what she's saying there is that I'm coming in here to kick ass. We're going to get better facilities. We're going to get better kids here because of our better facilities. And we're going to rock this thing. That is her exact words. That's what I love. One quick thought on that. I'm going to switch gears. Stay with me here. Hey, Coach O. You guys know I've defended Coach O for a couple of weeks now, especially when Rudy Punis goes out there into the ether saying fire him because of Gloria Scott, even though he was proven not to be complicit in that. Hey, Coach O, get that back. I think he's got it. Get it back. Let's see. Adam says, put some respect on her name. We better put some respect on her name. We better put some respect. I mean, not with a T, with a K. Respect. Blake Doucette says, when she picked up Paul for a hug, I thought she was putting him back on the plane that she came from. Oh, she did pick him up. She did pick him up. That was funny. That was funny. We'll get to some baseball talk in a minute. God, what a heartbreaker Saturday. Look, that's what's going to keep getting Paul Maneri and fans upset with Paul is because of that right there. That's why people are pissed at Paul. Chase Orgeron says, I mean, I was pumped about the O hire. LOL. Of course you were, my first cousin. Of course you were. Kurt Paul says Aliva would have hired the Port Allen Junior High b-ball coach. Why you got to be Port Allen, Kurt? Why you got to put that on Port Allen? Come on, bro. That's funny, though. That's funny. Dorian Starkey, who his barbershop, Ryan's Barbershop, always getting brothers lined up. Starkey, I got to come see you guys. I got to get lined up again. We got big things rolling for AYS in the next couple of days. I got to get lined and trimmed. Got to look good for the screen on the screen. But Starkey says, with the transfer portal, this is a good point. With the transfer portal and Baylor players that she wants following her to BR, it's going to take as long as everyone thinks. Look, there's another good point right there. Like a really, really good point that I think that's going to be very interesting to watch. Right? Like how many, not only are players going to come with her, but how many? I mean, shit, she said that she's got 2 other people on her staff that's coming. Well, she introduced 4. So you have Kim Mulkey, you have 4 right there, so that's 5. I would expect another 3 or 4 to be there. I was told that she was going to have 9 people on her staff. 9. I mean, they committed. And look, Kim took a little bit of a pay cut. From right now early, what it seems like, we'll have to wait until those numbers officially come out. But rumor has it that she took a little bit of a pay cut. If LSU got her on a deal, that's going to make Scott Woodward's, I don't know, I want to say pedigree at LSU even higher. So, hey, we're not even paying her as much as Baylor did, but we're willing to put in the investment. For example, if you want a new weight room, like Kim, that costs money. Okay, I'll take $500,000. I'm throwing a number. I'll take $500,000 less, and let's get this shit rolling because Natty brings me money. And it will. And let's not act like she's not going to be on a Raising Cane's billboard soon. If you mean to tell me that Ty Graves is going to get Kim Mulkey on a billboard in the middle of Baton Rouge, chicken, what you picking, or whatever they say in the Raising Cane's drive-through line, picking, or chicken, what number you picking? Give me a number 3 with a sweet tea, a half and half. Hold the slaw. Give that thing to Coach O. I don't want the slaw. Give me an extra thing of bread and some sauce. Amanda Barker, who runs the hashtag Tiger Nation, she said they rolled out the red carpet for her today. Very deserving. They did roll out the red carpet, and they colored that thing purple. First class, man. The only bad thing that I say bad, but the only thing I would have changed today is when she got off the plane. I mean, first step off the plane. I wish the band would have been playing "Hold That Tiger" instead of come on, man. Hit that. Like, give me some LSU jingle. Don't be giving me Mardi Gras, bro. We're in April. Mardi Gras is done with. I don't want to be hearing Mardi Gras Mambo. We're talking about Mardi Gras Mambo. Play Hold That Tiger. Kurt Paul brings up a good point. He says Dee Dee Bro's the GOAT. She said that too. She said the countless amount of time I spent on the phone with Dee Dee Bro. Because here's the truth too, man. I know that Dee Dee Bro's not the head coach of LSU women's gymnastics, but she knows what Kim Mulkey's about to come in here and do. Kim Mulkey's about to turn. Look, LSU is an institution, okay, where you can take almost any sport, throw a little pixie dust on it from Tinkerbell, give it a little bit of money, give it some want to. And they're going to win. She's going to come here and win. Guys, quite honestly, remember the Simone Augustus days. Remember the Pokey days. I remember watching those games. I know that you're going to be watching those games. If LSU women's basketball is in March Madness, if they're in the Elite Eight, if they're in the Final Four, and if they're in the championship game, there is no way in Rudy Poo hell that my eyes aren't going to be on that. It's about winning championships, and she's coming to do it. Blake Doucette says, hashtag ask Blake, all the ones that hit the transfer portal, will they come back? I don't know. And she was asked that today, which I thought was a good question. Let's see. Justin says only one staff member was introduced today as an assistant coach. Only announced. So if you're – let me say this. Her thing are going through the board of supervisors, but so do those. But she's gonna. Some of those are going to be on her staff. But you're right. Only one was announced as assistant coach. Who was I at? I just saw that when they caught my eye. Let's see. Chase Ortron says it's not my money, so it doesn't bother me. Always hire the best. Right. And quite honestly, it is my money. I mean, if I'm giving money, this is just me. As Ben is just wailing. Look, if it's my money, I want you to win championships. I don't want you to hoard my money. If I'm giving you money to win and you don't, I'm going to get pissed off. Hashtag boosters. I mean, I'm not giving what they're giving, but I can only imagine. Kenny Russell says, got to get out of the scarcity mindset. LSU will spend the money in order to win championships, period. Well, and that's where we got away. And quite honestly, I don't mean this in the wrong way. We got away with that a little bit with Skip Bertman. I mean, guys, I'm going to tell you a quick story that I don't know if I should really share, but oh God, what's the Vanderbilt head coach's name? Guys, help me out. Why is his name slipping my mind? Tim Corbin. Tim Corbin and LSU talked. Let's see. There was a chance that Skip Bertman could have gotten Tim Corbin to come to LSU and we didn't pay his buyout or whatever it was. That's when LSU kind of stopped using money and really going out. Guys, I know it paid out with Tom Herman and Ed Orgeron. It paid out LSU. Look, I don't say we lucked out because Ed Orgeron's a good coach. That's not what I mean. But I think you guys understand what I'm saying. At the very end of the day, there was a point that LSU just stopped spending money. Guys, Scott Woodward, let's call it what it is, took $2.3 million after a failed football season on Bo Pelini and said, take it, go sit down somewhere, you suck, to Bo Pelini. So I don't really want to – that's the biggest focus to me. Ryan Thibodeau says, can we speed through Tickfall now? Probably not. Kenny says the same fans who griped about paying Saban $1.2 million in 20. Oh, I got one here. Look at this one. Why does Moscona live rent free in your head? Why do you have a fake account and says that your Aunt Maid from Brobridge? Matt Moscona or Matt Anderson, whoever you are. I'm not going to get into that tonight. I made my statement and I made my piece. You're going to talk about firing a coach with no evidence. I'm going to come after your ass. Ask Glenn Gilbo. You guys saw that last week. Darren says, hashtag ask Blake, Mulkey going to put on some pounds living back home. Maybe. I'm not going to put that on anybody. I mean, I can't talk about pounds about nobody. I can't talk about pounds with anybody. I just can't do it. I mean, my little man is he's just ripping it in there. He is not excited about something. Guys, let me know in the comments if you can hear Ben just absolutely losing his godforsaken mind. Because he is yelling. Chris Barnhill has a novel here, so let's read this really quick. Replacing Paul Miles next. All the super coach fans are about to learn Scott Woodward is pulling LSU out of mediocrityville. We'll see. I mean, look, there's some hints. There's some hints that this is going to be Paul's last season. He might step down. We'll have to wait and see. But, guys, I want to be very careful. I mean, they won 2 or 3. Let's see what they do with Arkansas. There's still a lot of baseball left. I'm not saying one way or another. I did like what I saw. I do like what I saw this past weekend. There we go. I was about to, it's like, damn, why does that not sound right? I like what I saw, period. Friday or Thursday and Friday, but Saturday was just a collapse. And guys, quite honestly, you won a series against the 19 team in the country. The move, you needed a sweep. And I'm not going to sit here and defend Paul because I thought it was atrocious what he did Saturday. You're up 8 runs. You got to start pulling guys when they're getting rocked. I mean, and what was it? Brady wasn't just getting rocked. I mean, he was just getting blistered. I mean, one after the other. Ripping the candy ass out of that ball. Blake Doucette says the best thing I've seen was when he was threw out the game. Oh, talking about Paul when he got thrown out. Yeah, he put some oomph into that. I mean, he showed that he cared. Everybody said he didn't care, but we'll see. The one who said Matt Moscona's living in my head, she going to make 2.5? Maybe. I mean, but early rumors said, and she might. Again, like I said, we got to wait for official numbers. So if you're going to continue to troll, let's do this one. She's going to be the highest paid women's basketball coach in history. You're wrong. Okay. Again, I didn't say she wasn't. I said early rumors said that she didn't. We got a troll in our midst. It's funny when you call people out. Devin says triple-digit eyeballs in the Tange Playboy. Hashtag AYS growth. Yeah, we greatly appreciate everybody watching. Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. 191 of you live in the chat. We appreciate that. Brandon Reed says Scott Woodward will have to make a move on Paul Mainieri at some point. I think he will. I surely think that he will. Devin says that Mac Daddy jacket General Will Wade had on. Son, time to toss that potato skin pants on the hardwood. Yeah, and look, either two things are going to happen here. Either him and Kim Mulkey are going to join forces and try to build this into something great. Hey, we need new facilities. They're going to go out there. And look, the truth is Kim Mulkey can teach Will Wade a thing or two about how to fundraise and get things going. I mean, really, maybe she can help him in that because he's never been in an institution that like an LSU to do that kind of stuff. Kim has been there. Kim has succeeded. Guys, she went to a program where at Baylor that nobody really cared. It took her going out there and winning and raising money so that she could be victorious, regardless of what Aunt Maid from Brobridge says, or Madu, whatever you want to call it, says from Brobridge. It doesn't matter what you pay her. It doesn't matter what you pay her. I mean, yes, I get at some point you got to put the stomp on the brakes a little bit. But guys, again, it is not about hoarding money. Like this dude right here, she's going to make 2.5 or lady, whatever. She's going to make $2.5 million. And your point? What's your point? It's about winning ships. It's not about holding money. Let's see. Julie says, Mardi Gras Mulkey. I like that. Amanda says, Dee Dee was able to get the fan in the PMAC. Mulkey will do the same. The fans in the PMAC. She got the spark. She will make fun to watch. That's true. I mean, guys, we're packing out women's gymnastics. You think that she's not going to bring that in there? Craig Schilling says Bianco 2 starts after the base running blunder and not pulling Coleman after he escaped the bases loaded jam unscathed or head scratchers. And that's again, that is what everyone's talking about in reference to Paul Mainieri and everything that he's doing, right? Like those kinds of blunders. That's the kind of stuff that we're talking about. Amanda, we got to that one. Darren says, hashtag ask Blake. Musa Sisse is back in the transfer portal. Wade needs to make his move. Yeah, and Adam Miller, the guard / forward from Illinois, is also in the transfer portal who people have their eyes on. Hypothetically, if Will Wade could go get Miller and Musa Sisse, that would be a huge deal. So basketball is really focused on this time of the year. Julie says they asked Tim Corbin to come back for a second interview, and he said, if he don't know what you want me now, don't worry about it. True, and they should have, and that's when LSU should have spent the money. And they didn't. And the truth is LSU is now getting back to that point where they're telling people, watch out. And as they should have been doing the whole time. Look, Nick Saban, and I get it, but Nick Saban can ask for anything that he wants. It doesn't matter. And again, when you have the ability from people around him that's going to give him everything that he wants, that's how winning is done. That is how winning is done, when everybody is rowing the same boat in the same direction, going for one common goal. Anyway. Let's see. Gatorman45 says, oh, yeah, Long City. I guess y'all talking about Ben. Yeah, he does not like when his mother's on the phone, not giving him every second love of attention. Drives him nuts. It's insane. Devin says they got those worm buckets from Tickball, baby. Yeah, they do. And some good ones. All right, let's do this. Let's get to a quick break, and then we'll come back and talk some more baseball. And then we'll talk some baseball and talk some more Kim Mulkey and get to some more stuff. We will be taking all your comments. Hashtag Ask Blake. Put them in the comments now, and we'll get to them right after this break. Guys, if you're thinking about buying a new home, saving money on the mortgage that you have now, or even doing that cash out refi, the timing has never been better. Get in touch with John from Area Home Lending today, and if you mention this show, he will send his team out for a free appraisal. 225-663-2500. That's 225-663-2500. And tell them Blake Ruffino at AYS sent you on by. And for the #1 real estate team in the North Shore, that's team.kw.com, team.kw.com. Meet with one of their great real estate agents today at 985-467-7355. Meet them. They will put you in the home that you've always been wanting forever. 985-467-7355. That's team.kw.com. All right, let's keep getting to a couple of these comments. Travis says, any talk yet about transfers wanting to come play for Kim? No. And I think that we'll get that from a couple of people in the next couple of weeks or so. And she kind of told you don't expect that until around June, which we'll see. Ryan Thibodeau says Ben fighting to take a bath. He wants to be on Dad's show. Yeah, maybe so. He can't come in during the week. We got serious business to take care of during the week. Serious business. Colin Thibodeau says, yeah, I graduated with all them boys. Who dat? Kirk says, LSU can win one game against Arkansas. They can get 2-1 against Alabama and A&M. And A&M you can sweep and Auburn. I agree with that. And quite honestly, I hope that they really need to win out. I mean, let's just call it what it is. They need to win the Arkansas series. I don't know if they're going to do that. I don't want to say that this team can't, because the last time I almost said it was last week. I thought that they didn't really have a chance against Ole Miss, and then we saw that. But I didn't say that. It was just mentally in my mind. I was like, man, this is going to be a tough series. And they came out Thursday and Friday and just raked the ball. Jordan Thompson. Why am I bumfuzzled today in my mind? Dylan Cruz, Jordan Thompson. Trey Morgan. Thank you, mind. Trey Morgan's the SEC freshman of the week. Oh, here we go. Jonathan Rifkin says Oregon top 10 in baseball, has a top 10 baseball team. Yikes. LSU, you better get with it. I like it, Riff. I need to call you, man. It's been a long time. I hadn't talked to you in a while. Chris Barnhill says 9-1 and Ole Miss scored 8 runs with 2 outs. Pathetic. I know, Chris. That's right, man. I mean, all of that with 2 outs. I think that was the bad part. And I mean, 8 runs in and of itself. That's the stuff that drives me crazy with Paul. It always has. It always has. I mean, man, I get you might not have a lot of faith of guys in the bullpen, but you got to do something. You got to do something. Don't let that happen. I guarantee you Trey Morgan could probably do better than some of these Rudy Poos that he's throwing out there at times. I don't mean that in the wrong way, but – and look, here's another thing that Paul said last week that really drove me nuts, and I didn't really go full hammer on it because I wanted to wait to just kind of get my bearings under him or under me. Guys, he asked a question in his press conference where all these other teams in the SEC get these guys, meaning Arkansas, Ole Miss, Mississippi State, Vanderbilt. He said that. I'm going to make this very clear, and I don't think fans fully understand this from a recruiting aspect. If this were football or if this were basketball from a recruiting standpoint where that's really well tracked, we always follow football recruiting. Some of us follow baseball or basketball recruiting at times just to see the guys that we're getting in. Okay. At the end of the day, if we were really following LSU baseball recruiting the way that we probably would follow other sports, Paul Maneri would have been fired 4 years ago. Or maybe not 4 years. Yeah. No, maybe not after 17. 3 years ago. The hot seat on Paul Maneri would have been, if it's hot now, it would have been scorching. Guys, guys and girls, he's letting big-time athletes, baseball-wise, in his own state leave. We were pissed when Les did that. We started getting mad at Ed before he locked the state down. If this were the same, we'll see. Ryan says, #ask Blake, wasn't Mulkey making $2.7 million at Baylor? I think in total with endorsements, she was close to that number, but she was making $2.27 million. 2.27 million was where she was sitting at. Jonathan Rifkin says, back in my day, AYS had 25 viewers strong. Not anymore, dog. Not anymore. We're growing this Mac Daddy. Mac Washington, what's up, Mac? He says, best comment by Kim was that DD Bro talks my language. Ed Orgeron might have to throw me off the field. I might have to go out there and tell Paul Maneri when he's leaving a pitcher out there too long. That was a good one. Dude, she did. Carl the Cat Dunn says she mentioned Hi-Ho Barbecue. She did. Look, guys, I grew up in Tangipahoa Parish. I live right. I mean, Hammond is a stone's throw away. It's literally right here. I think it's a big deal for it's a big deal, man. I mean, take it for someone that, when your dad or your grandparents and everybody grew up watching Kim Mulkey. I mean, it's a big deal here. Craig Schilling says no state income tax in Texas, so naturally she would have to receive more at LSU to make up the difference at Baylor. That's a really good point. That's a really good point. So Aunt Jemima's whatever the YouTube channel was, the fake account YouTube channel. That's a good point. That's a good point, Craig. A really good point. Call the Cat done. Arkansas hasn't lost a series this season. Well, let's hope they lose one this weekend. Let's hope they lose one this weekend. And I think that LSU's got the talent. Let's not act like LSU doesn't have a talent, because they do. They do. Maybe not the pitching, but oh well. Let's see. Mark says, why didn't Bianco play for his dad, maybe? They have this little weird family thing where they don't play with he doesn't want to coach his sons and stuff like that. I mean, is what it is, man. Is what it is. I mean, I don't. If it were me, guys, you saw the video of me and Ben, like Ben's getting to the point where he's throwing the ball to me every day. I'm not provoking it. I want him to do whatever he wants to do, but he's hitting the ball. I mean, look, it just is what it is, man. And so I don't know that. I don't know that. It's really interesting, though. It's kind of weird. Landon Benoit says, given the relationship that Coach Mulkey and Coach Paul have, does this hiring of Mulkey quiet the fire Paul M takes any? Chris or Landon, no. I mean, because here's the funny thing. If you were listening to Scott Woodward's first sentence at the press conference today, he said firing people are hard. And he didn't say fire. He said making tough decisions are hard. I mean, he's putting everybody on the chopping block. Here's Paul Mary's head. Here's the chopping block. Boom, boom, boom. He telling Paul, you better win, brother. You better win or else. Or else. So, no, I don't think that hire does that. Now, and here's another thing. I mean, look, how much weight does she really have after the next couple of weeks? Is she going to really interfere in Paul's behalf right now when she needs money? If she's out there saying, keep Paul, keep Paul, keep Paul, again, I don't know. But at the end of the day, I do hear and I do think that, there are the rumors that Paul is possibly going to step down. We will see. Again, rumors. And you guys know how I feel about rumors. Wesley Nell says, David, most of the left-handed pitching that are good get drafted out of high school. Majority, but you still got to go find them. I mean, because Wesley, I guess the point of that, I get what you're saying, and you're actually statistically right. But I guess my question is how is everybody else getting them? And quite honestly, if you look at the elite pitching around the SEC, a lot of them aren't left-handed. So you would be right. You would be right there. Chase says, Lafouche and Tangi Parrish representing strong. You're right. You're right. Devin says, AYS draft watch party Thursday. Man, I don't know, Devin. I don't know, man. I mean, we'll see. We'll see. The last time we did the watch party, man, I was exhausted. Colin Thibodeau says, it's hard being a parent and coaching your own kid. My dad coached me my entire life, and I coach my kids now. None of us get any slack. Yeah, maybe. And look, I've never experienced that. So I can't speak on it. I can't speak on that. Alex King says, Woodward will most likely fire O at this point. Fire him for what? See, this is, and Alex, I like you. I respect you. We're good friends. But for what? I mean, y'all want to know why I tee off on guys that say fire Ed Orgeron? Quite honestly, Alex, this is not a rant about you, brother. But this shit, not you, Alex. Again, it's a perception that gets put out there. Fire Ed Orgeron in the name of Gloria Scott. Gloria Scott extorted LSU for $100,000. Gloria Scott called Miriam Seeger and says, I talked with Sharon Lewis, who's suing LSU for $50 million, but I want my money. Fire Ed Orgeron, though. He went 5-5. I'm okay with having the discussion. I am okay, and I think it's plausible, even though I might not agree with you, to say, Ed Orgeron, okay, if you want to fire him, if you want to talk about on the field, even though I don't agree, I will have the conversation. Do not come with me with Ed Orgeron gets fired because of Gloria Scott. Not right now. Not right now. That's what bullshit narratives do. Alex, again, not you. People that watch us know what I'm talking about. He says Woodward doesn't need a reason. You're damn right he does. You're damn right he does. You're going to pay a man $28 million to step. Quite honestly, he orchestrated the best college football team of all time in 2019. But at the end of the day, we want him got fired because of 5-5, because of COVID and departures and kids opting out. Look, it's not happening right now. It's not going to happen. And let's see what happens again on the field. Guys, we have to stop with this Fire Ed Orgeron stuff. We have people out there on videotape on their own shows saying fire Ed Orgeron in the name of Gloria Scott. At some point, and look, I've been on post-game shows ripping the Rudy poo out of Ed Orgeron for a game. It serves me no purpose, none, to come out here and say to do this. It doesn't. What purpose does it serve me? Because the truth is, historically, coaches in the SEC get fired. So it doesn't make me look any good. But in the name of Gloria Scott, don't say fire Ed Orgeron. Justin says, I live here in Independence and pass Kim Mulkey Drive every day in Tickfall. That's what she means to this town. Exactly. David says, sorry, David, I missed your comment. Damn, where'd it go? Sorry, David, I missed your comment. Oh, there it is. He says, Omaha or bust? Yes, not a question. Kirk says, it's not happening this year. Fully agree. Chase says, yes, stop. It's dumb. Chase Orgeron, I might add. Darren says, fire Ed O, LOL, wow, ridiculous. The guy's locked down Louisiana. Let's see what happens. Well, look, what if Ed Orgeron goes 9-3, 10-2, 11-1? What if they get back to the playoff? I mean, you're going to want to fire Ed Orgeron at 10-2. Oh, by the way, he's going to have multitudes of starters coming back. I mean, man. I have not. This is the part that gets me about the Ed Orgeron thing. I talk about this ad nauseum. Every time I ask, if someone puts in a comment because it's on the field, I don't respond. Because it's quite simply, you know what? I can have that discussion. If you want to talk about the 5-5, all right. I get the fact that Scott Woodward probably wants to bring his own people in here. I get that. But Scott Woodward then should not have paid Ed Orgeron $7 million after 2019 if he didn't want him. Quite honestly, he's putting the stamp of approval on Ed Orgeron. If we want to call a spade, which nobody on their Rudy Poo minds wants to just acknowledge, is when you put the stamp of giving the man $7 million a year, making him the third highest paid coach in the country, you are giving your stamp of approval that you're one of the best. That's on Scott Woodward. That's not on anybody else. So if we do have to fire Ed, and if you want to fire Ed, then you better start looking at things at Scott Woodward for extending Ed Orgeron. Well, Blake, he extended him after a national championship. That's the point. That's the point. Alex, I'm not going to keep going back and forth with you, brother. Accusations about what? This is the part where I talk about Matt Moscona and the things that he says. This is the point that I'm talking about. The biggest thing that I feared was that comment. Accusations about what? The accusations about Ed Orgeron were from Gloria Scott that were a lie. A lie. Alex, I love you. All right, a couple more. We'll get out of here. Brandon Reese says, who would Scott Woodward replace Coach O with? Jimbo? What you going to pay won't be $75 million at that point. How long has he been there? 40 years? What you going to pay $20 million? You're going to pay $40 million for a head coach, and you're worried about Ed Orgeron? Guys, somebody better make a clip of this. When Scott Woodward put the stamp of approval on Ed Orgeron, giving him $7 million extensions per year, $7 million per year, after the man was making him close. What was it, about 2.5, 3? I don't forgot exactly how much he was getting paid. That's his stamp of approval. Let me also say this. If there's more evidence, okay, we don't know that right now. And here's another thing too, Alex. Accusations are not proof. Alex, you know what I could say? I could say, you know what? I saw Alex King in a bar last week and he punched me in the face. Doesn't make it true. Wesley says, why fire O? Because someone is trying to blackmail the school. Well, and because he's not an elitist. Guys, we have people running out there in circles in Baton Rouge saying that they hate Ed Orgeron because he's not a country club elitist, like we're Southern Cal. We're so excited about bringing our guy home, and he's a Louisiana guy. We're so excited. It's funny how this comes up on a Kim Mulkey day. We're so excited to bringing in Kim Mulkey. But boy, how people will turn on you in a hat. Chase says that lady only brought up his name for publicity. Extortion equals no credibility, and extortion equals illegal. I mean, it's illegal, guys. It's illegal. It's against the law. LOW. That's that Franklinton education coming out. Chase says the lady only. Oh, there we go. All right, a couple more, then we're out here. Blake says they need to realize without Coach O, no Joe Brady, no Joe Burrow. LSU wasn't going to win it. I think what she did there. All right, guys, we will be back tomorrow with the more fired up stuff. Actually, you know what? I missed this before we get out of here. Mark says Geis erased from history, Hoss. But again, it's not at Orgeron. Here's another thing. Here's a question I got. If we're going to erase Geis, are we going to let – hey, y'all want the 2007 national title? No, it's yeah. We're going to erase the 2007 national title from Les Miles? We're going to erase the 2011 SEC championship game from Les Miles? I mean, because he paid a woman to shut up. So we want to talk about Derek. I get what you're saying, Mark. I'm with you. I agree with you. Let me make that clear. I agree with you. But all I'm going to say is that, hey, y'all want that 2007 banner to come down? Cavaguy! Last one. Todd says the so-called media is pushing for BS narrative that O should be fired. They will be barking up for a while because O isn't going anywhere. Well, they'll stop once he wins another one, and if they make another playoff. Anyway, all right, guys, we're gonna get out of here. Y'all have a good night. We will see y'all tomorrow. Peace out.